Today we're going to talk about how to do a no-cut install with Slate-ish. This is one of the easiest, mess-free, tool-free projects you can do to totally dress up a wall space. You can see I've got this started here. I've got a dark painted back wall. I've got part of my Slate-ish started, and what I have here is this blue tape is representing where I want this entire line of Slate-ish to stop. And this is the same whether you're coming up to a wall or you just choose to want to stop at a certain spot. The important thing about preparing for this type of install is you want to have three things ready. You want to have your short pieces separated out, you want to have your thin pieces separated out, and you want to have your thick pieces separated out. And this will allow you to pre-plan, because this does take a little bit of extra time to make sure that you're getting this right. You're going to be doing a lot of dry fitting pieces before you put adhesive on the back, so you can make sure you're actually doing it correctly. So I'm going to show you an example of what this looks like. So here I have a thin piece, and I'm going to pretend like I'm installing this directly up to my line, so you can go ahead and adhere this one in. The next piece that you're going to want to do is you're going to fit. So part of this is going to overlap here. And I'm going to go with a thick piece because that's going to work for where I'm putting this. And the idea is, again, dry fit this first. Make sure it's going to go like you want it to. I'm going to butt this piece here, and I'm going to overlap this piece. When you have this glued in, you won't be able to see that it's overlapping. So you can see here, this is how much overlap I've got. You put a little bit of extra adhesive behind this piece right here. You put a small amount of adhesive here, being careful not to come past your tile, because when you put this in, you don't want to have squeeze out here. If you have to where that's not staying placed, like the tiles below aren't quite supporting it, you also have the option to throw some painter's tape just to hold that in place until it's a little bit set up. That silicone takes a little while. When I go to the next row, so I'm working from right to left here on this wall. So let's say I'm coming in and I've got a piece here. It's a pretty thin piece. And I'm going to want to do a really short piece here so that my lines look nice on this end. It's going to leave me with this version. So again, I have an option to do a full-size piece. This one's not super thick. This is pretty thin here. So again, I'm going to dry fit this, make sure it looks like I want it to. And that gives me, lineup looks good. I'll put extra adhesive here, a tiny bit here when I install this, and it's going to sit right on top of the row below. And you can keep working your way up the wall exactly like that. I know I need this to end at this spot over here. So when I come over from my other side, which is kind of how I'm going here, let's say we've got a space that looks like this. You can do, again, a thick piece here where you're going to butt it up on one side and you're going to put it over the top of the other tile. Again, keep in mind, it's real easy to throw a piece of tape on here if you feel like it needs a little support while it's drying, so don't be afraid to stick that on there. And then you can keep going up the wall exactly the same way, the entire way through your install. You just want to make sure that you're watching where your lines are overlapping for the best look. This one's a pretty easy one here, not a lot of overlap. This isn't a very thick piece, and neither are either one here, but I would probably go this route. And make sure that, again, I've got a little bit of extra adhesive here, and you're good to go.